regular political. Yes, I always support the children.
You always support the children?
Yes, the children because no matter, children should not be groomed, should not be abused, should not be groomed, should not be abused. Children should be children.
Amen.
And God bless all. I don't mind who is teaching whatever, but children should be children. I always said, let the children play and don't force them to adulthood. They should know some, but of course, as an educationalist, I'm helping the children. But again, I said it's very important. Children be children, and not be groomed, not be abused. Let them enjoy their life, and God bless all the children.
Thank you very much, sir. Don't touch me stuff, you little weirdo. What do you mean, fuck off? You just come touch me stuff. You just touched me stuff, you ignorant little twat. You touched my stuff, you ignorant little twat. Don't forget, you snatched it a couple of centimetres away from your arsehole. Excuse me, sir.
Hi.
Would you make a comment on your placard?
Well, we're here to support the Drag Queen Story Hour, which is an initiative to encourage inclusivity among young people.
Right.
And here in the library...
How do they do that with young people and get inclusivity? How do they...
Sir, where are you from?
Correct Not Political on YouTube. My name's Jim. Okay. How do you do? What's your name? Jeff. Nice to meet you, Jeff. Yeah. Thank you for taking the time to speak to me this morning. Thoroughly appreciate it. I'm not actually an antagonist. I'm too autistic, and I go places to try and get the information out of people.
Okay.
Right?
So here there are drag queens reading age-appropriate material to children.
Right.
To show them that it's okay to be a little bit different.
Do you know what age-appropriate material? Have you seen a list of the books?
I've seen some examples, maybe like 3 examples.
Right.
Michael Rosen and a
There's
couple
a list
others.
of 20 books.
Okay, 20 books.
Right, so there's 20 different books, but before all that, before the content of the books, because that was my argument to start with, right? Because like I said, I'm apolitical, but I do have an 11-year-old son, so I do still think there's something going on, amiss, right?
Sorry, so you do have an agenda here.
Well, no, it's not an agenda so much. I'm trying to be straight down the middle. I'm partisan. I do have biases, yeah, but I'm trying to be as objective as possible because I'm only human. Do you understand? So I do have emotions and that, right? But the point is, I can't get my head around being autistic, right? I can't get my head around 3-year-old children being exposed to a man dressed in drag. Because a man dressed in drag, by itself, before the stories, is going to open up a whole host of conversation and concepts that I'm not sure 3-year-olds are actually best to understand or have any conversation about at that time.
There's a documentary series on Apple TV Plus.
Apple TV Plus?
Called Becoming You.
Becoming You.
And they point out that until the age of about 4 or 5, children don't have any concept of gender anyway.
Right.
And they just kind of bounce between them. So you're saying child of 3, that child will be absolutely fine because it doesn't make any difference to them.
So you're saying because they don't know about it already, it's a good reason to teach them?
You're talking about a corruptive influence, but I don't think that is a corruptive influence.
But this is the thing, is it ADHD in there?
Yeah, sure.
Right, so have you seen the social media posts that are sexually explicit and that allude to having sex with minors?
I haven't seen that, and I wouldn't believe it.
You wouldn't believe it?
Well,
because, so, does that make you a bigot then? If you're shown evidence of something and you're not willing to sway...
Social media posts means nothing.
Right, but hypothetically speaking, if they were true, because you have some issue with believing they're true, obviously. Yeah. So hypothetically speaking, if it was printed on the BBC...
BBC is a right-wing media...
Really?
Which is the Tories got their neck on the BBC.
Yeah, but the Tories ain't right-wing, though, mate.
They are.
Oh, I don't know.
They are.
They're corporatists. They like business. They don't really they're not really political, I don't
Boris
think.
Johnson said fuck business.
Yeah, he says that, and then look what he done with all the backhanded
it's
£50
true
billion that went down
the
the thing.
But that in itself is right wing.
Right, but anyway, back to the original question. You said a good enough reason to teach children of 3 about gender identity and sexual orientation is because they don't already know about it. That was basically the argument you made. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Again?
Right, so I said to you, what is the need or what can be gained by a child as young as 3 learning about sexual orientation or gender identity And you said children don't even know about gender identity until the age of 4 or 5.
Yeah,
Right?
they don't have a fixed idea of their own
Right.
gender. Yeah.
So you don't see that there could be harm in teaching children things that then.
I think the important thing is
Right.
that we're teaching them things like, hi Nigel, we're teaching them that, like, if somebody comes into their class
Right.
and you've got a mummy and a daddy,
Right.
and they've got 2 mummies or 2 daddies or something, you go, yeah, no problem. It's not kind of, whoa, you haven't got a mummy? What's wrong with you? Or if somebody comes into class, one of your friends says, today, yeah, I usually dress up as a princess, but today I want to be the prince.
I should suggest that children have a harder time witnessing paraplegics and people that have had sorts of like limbs removed and things like that, rather than a cross-dresser or a boy or a girl with a boy's haircut.
Well, it depends what kind of stuff their parents and the rest of society is telling them. I agree. I think normally they wouldn't think twice about it. They just go, oh yeah, you've got, like my daughter, when she was little, her best friend was black, and she thought it was like a choice that he'd chosen to be.
He chose to be black.
Yeah.
But that goes to show you how naive and innocent children are.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think it's.
And it's that
an issue.
naivety and innocence that needs to be protected by the adults.
It doesn't.
It's your responsibility as an adult.
It doesn't. It needs to be protected, especially from those near and dear, because things. They're not going to be corrupted by weird things that adults are doing, because
But if they're getting exposed to them weird things that adults are doing, because drag performances are generally predominantly an adult entertainment. You
But
can't say
it's
it
not.
ain't.
It's pantomime. Pantomimes.
Right.
We always brought our
There's a
kids
difference.
to pantomime.
You're right. There's a difference between someone going, he's behind you, and educating children on the different sorts of genders there are, and be about being pansexual. You don't think?
Well, I think it's fine to be pansexual, and we
I'm
want
not
the
on
next
about whether
generation.
it's fine or
We
whether
want
it
the
ain't
next
fine.
generation to.
Children shouldn't be worried about having sex, though. End of.
Children ain't it's not an issue for children until they reach puberty anyway. But
Not until they reach puberty, until they reach 16.
Till yes, I mean they can't have sex until then. Yeah. But I'm looking for my daughter in her school in Woodstock. Oh, and first of all in Kidlington. She and her cohort were brought up to be very inclusive, to be very open, and she would tell my son off if he was ever kind of rude about different groups, and that was great. So I think the younger generation, I don't know how old you are, sir, Paul, the younger generation, it's great. They're much more willing to accept people, because it doesn't harm anyone if they're just, adults doing things with each other is fine.
Yeah, but this is an adult doing things to children.
But they're not doing anything to children.
But he's teaching them about concepts that are not age appropriate.
But he's not.
You're failing to give me the argument as to why it is age appropriate. I've been here for a few minutes.
Yeah, we're going to stop. He's teaching them that it's okay to dress a bit differently if you want to, and that it's an exaggerated example, and they can see that he's not a danger to them, and they got their parents there with them.
Do you know what autogynephilia is?
I don't know what that is.
It's where a man gets aroused by the thought of himself dressed up as the opposite sex. He gets his jollies off thinking that people find him attractive dressed as the opposite sex.
Okay, I have no
That's a
problem with
paraphilia. Do you know what a paraphilia is?
No.
Like pedophilia. It's like a sexual disorder,
I
sexual
know that.
deviancy, right? So my point is, these people.
I don't think that. I don't have any problem with that. Like Eddie Izzard, I mean.
Eddie Izzard.
Cross-dresser, fine.
Right, fine.
Yeah.
He's not reading children books in libraries, though, is he?
No, but maybe he should. That would be good, because he's a.
You balmy, you, ain't ya? Oh, Paul. Listen,
Okay, Paul.
I thoroughly appreciate that. Thank you for your time this morning.
All right.
You have a nice day. Cheers, mate.